The Mario universe has lots of strange characters occupying it. Slap a face on it and it's alive and well. I think that's what's so bizarre but also neat about the Mushroom World. Anything can pretty much be living, but today we're going to be focusing on the most explosive Mario characters, because even weapons aren't outside the spectrum of what occupies this world. The bob-ombs are a race of characters that have existed since the early days of Mario, yet one of these bombs isn't like the rest. He's big, got a giant mustache, a pointy crown, and he has arms, which is quite rare for this explosive breed of enemies. But the subtleties of King Bob-omb actually amount to something pretty interesting. They define why he's viewed as a king, and they also hint at where he came from and how he rose to power. We're gonna do a deep dive on some game lore, so buckle up and suspend your disbelief for a moment as we overthink games as always. So first, we should lay the groundwork for the actual Bob-omb universe, because even though the Mario games have their own storylines, there's underlining subplots that aren't really discussed, but can be inferred by clues scattered about. And I think this becomes even more clear once we get into the 3D platformers in the series. So starting out, Bob-ombs for the most part were standard enemies that Mario faced in his journeys. They were soldiers in Bowser's army that had the most destructive power around. Sometimes they could be utilized to clear out other enemies or even to solve puzzles. In the isometric world of Super Mario RPG, they were heavily utilized in the mines of Moleville, and even used for security within Booster Tower. But when the world of 3D Mario came about, things changed. Up until this point, the only type of communication a bomb could make was when you read their minds in Super Mario RPG. But in Super Mario 64, full-fledged conversations came about, and that's when Bob-omb lore got pretty deep. Enter Bob-omb Battlefield, where we're told a war is happening between the black-colored Bob-ombs and the Bob-omb Buddies, who are the pink-colored ones. What's interesting is that this is the first time we've really heard about typical enemies that aid us instead of harm us. Bob-omb Buddies help us throughout the entire game, and they're always a point of interest in the levels. But the fact that a war is happening is pretty odd. King Bob-omb, who is at the top of the summit, is the leader of the Bob-ombs. He warns Mario with the following message, via a sign at the base of the mountain. No visitors allowed by decree of the Big Bob-omb. I shall never surrender my stars. They hold the power of the castle in their glow. They were a gift from Bowser, the King Koopa himself. They lie well hidden in my realm. Not a whisper of their whereabouts shall leave my lips. So it seems that the war on Bob-ombs and King Bob-omb's star-holding role within the game are separate from one another to some degree. King Bob-omb may have been helped being put into power, but the battlefield existed prior to the stars being hidden there, which makes me think his role as a king was already established prior to Bowser's intervention. But what makes him so kingly besides his size and crown? The Bob-ombs seem to be under his control, and I was thinking this is purely based on how he is built, blessed with 2 arms and 2 legs. With 2 arms, he's capable of throwing fellow Bob-ombs like in the battle in Super Mario 64 DS. Arms and Bob-ombs are quite rare things, as pretty much majority of bombs lack them. Bob-ombs are made to be thrown or fired out of a cannon, and it only seemed natural to worship one of your kind that was gifted with the ability to fulfill your purpose. I mean, don't get me wrong, a Bob-omb's existence is kinda bleak, but the logic still sorta makes sense. Chuck-Yas are the only other bomb-like enemies that have the throwing power and the coveted arms Bob-ombs probably desire. However, Chuck-Yas lack legs and cannot jump. Thus, they are dwarfed by King Bob-omb's ability to launch himself sky high, and by his increased resilience. Beyond that, most Bob-ombs tend to be one-offs or created from a source like a Bob-omb dispenser in the Super Mario Galaxy series. But King Bob-omb is able to manifest them out of thin air, with a limitless supply. In some ways, that alone would put him in the ranks of a god in the eyes of a normal Bob-omb. But there's something else that sets him apart from the rest. When a normal Bob-omb explodes, it's gone, turned into a fiery explosion that's carried away in the wind. This is how the normal Mario universe operates. But King Bob-omb doesn't die when he explodes. He has the ability to regenerate himself over and over again. He's immortal and cannot die for good regardless of what happens to him, which is strange because no other bomb can do that within the games. That is, within this dimension. If we swing on over to the Paper Mario universe, regenerating Bob-ombs is a common practice. We see it all the time in battles, and it's commonplace there. But King Bob-omb isn't sourced from the Paper dimension, so what gives? Well, I think King Bob-omb actually hails from a completely different dimension, one near the start of the Mario timeline. Now, at this point in the video, if you're shaking your head at that remark, I honestly don't know how you got here. We're like 10 layers deep with overthinking games, so just hear me out. I believe King Bob-omb is from Subcon, the land of dreams in Super Mario Bros. 2. Not only is this the place where bob-ombs always have arms, but given the unique characteristics of King Bob-omb, from his ability to create bombs, but also recreate himself once he's destroyed, it'd make tons of sense that he was born from a land of dreams, a place where anything is possible, and the rules of the real world don't really apply. After leaving this dreamscape, bombs no longer had arms except for King Bob-omb and Chuck-yas. To be honest, Chuck-yas look like bombs, but they don't really explode when defeated, so it's hard to classify them. King Bob-omb certainly can pack a wallop with his explosion though. This all would make sense given that the enemies of Super Mario Bros. 2 were all created from within the Dream Machine. Bob-ombs would look different because the thought put into their creation was different. If good intentions influenced the machine, it brought about prosperity and good weather, whereas bad dreams created monsters and other beings. If King Bob-omb left Subcon, he'd probably still retain his magical properties and he'd be an outlier in the world. But all these details add up to a pretty neat origin story that certainly is plausible. But now that I've said all that, what are your thoughts? Ever overthink Bob-omb lore? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, thanks for tuning in for this explosive recap. A long time ago, I did another deep analysis on Mario Sunshine's paintbrush and its ties to Subcon. Give it a gander if you're interested. Anyways, thanks for watching guys and gals, and until my next video, cheers.